Oh, do we have a third council member? Becky Wynn is here. Welcome to the Monday, October 5th meeting of the Mayor and Council. We have a wonderful meeting tonight. We've got a lot of guests here tonight that are young and energetic and are going to make this an exciting meeting. And we will begin this meeting by a Pledge of Allegiance from Girl Scout Troop 25328. If they'll come forward and lead us in the pledge, if we'd all face the flag. And we have a leader who's going to start us once everybody's up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now at this time I would like, girls don't sit down. I want everyone to come to the microphone and introduce themselves. One at a time.
Okay. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi. I'm Abby Shepard.
That's wonderful.
Hi, I'm Caroline Barden. Hi, I'm Rihanna Travers. Hi, I'm Montana Montgomery. Hi, I'm Zoe Kashars. Hi, I'm Kate McFarland. Hi, I'm Lexi Parada.
You can pull the microphone down.
Hi, I'm Meredith Jones. Hi, I'm Michelle Smythe. Hi, I'm C.G. Curry. Hi, I'm Carson Hunt. Hello, I'm Olivia Barnard. Hi, I'm Alice Watson. Hi, I'm Audrey Chatellis. Hi, I'm Hannah Demis.
Hannah, are you the last one to come to the microphone? Well, stay at the microphone. I've got some questions to ask you. And Hannah, what is the occasion for all of y'all to be here tonight?
To learn about City Hall?
What, have you learned anything yet?
Yes.
What have you learned?
I've learned about you.
Okay. Well, we're going to have you don't have to stick around for the entire meeting, but I encourage you to stay around for our youth council who will be coming up next. And at this time, the ladies have asked us if the council would take their picture. And I will tell you, you never have to ask twice for a politician for a photo op. So if we were to join these ladies, we'd like to get our picture taken with you.
Okay.
And girls, if you'll come to this side of the dais.
Okay. Okay.
No, we want the council behind. Y'all leave room for the mom. Short people in the front.
Girls, all right, let's see if we can see everybody.
Kate, here comes the
Yeah.
Kate.
Got somebody hiding back here.
No, I don't want anybody hiding.
Yes.
Can everybody see the camera? All right, let's have hands for the Girl Scouts. Before the council sits down, we're not sitting down. I want you to stand behind your chairs. And we're going to ask Morgan Rogers to come forward for the next part of our program. We'll just stand behind your designated chairs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, Ms. Love, guest. Well, we're excited to be here tonight. This is the first the Monday before Youth Day Parade. And as everybody knows, the Youth Day Parade is a 59-year tradition here in Roswell. It is put on for the kids, by the kids, and because of that, Mayor and Council cannot legitimately ride in the Youth Day Parade because unfortunately they're all too old. But we have asked some members of the Roswell High School and Centennial High School to be the Youth Council and Youth Mayor for the week, and they have graciously asked for y'all to ride with them in the parade on Saturday. So now, at this point in time, I would like to call on the Youth Mayor, Kendall Smither, to come forward. And then Youth Council Member Jillian Magnum. Youth Council Member Emily Howell. Youth Council Member Lisa Lajamanir. And Youth Council Member Meghna Saha. We also have with us two youth staff members tonight. Representing the City Administrator, we have Paige Tomasi. And representing our City Attorney, we have Bailey Kelvington. And as usual, we're going to ask the staff to do most of the work tonight. So Paige and Bailey are going to pass out the agendas for the Youth City Council meeting. I'm missing one.
Ask them if you can proceed while they pass.
Oh. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Youth Council Member Alicia Muzzy.
May we go ahead and proceed while you're passing everything
Yes,
out?
yes, you can, Ms. Mayor.
You're up.
Okay. Roswell's 59th Annual Francis McGahee Youth Day Celebration. Whereas the youth of Roswell represent the future of our great city, and whereas the youth of Roswell are an important part of the community, and whereas the city of Roswell for the past 59 years has celebrated its youth with a city-wide parade and festival, and whereas the theme of the 59th Annual Francis McGahee Youth Day celebration is Our Heroes, and whereas the youth of Roswell, along with all of our citizens, would like to honor our local heroes who dedicate their lives to serving, protecting, and educating the youth and citizens of Roswell. Now, therefore, I, Kendall Smither, Youth Mayor of Roswell, do hereby proclaim Saturday, October 10th, 2009, as Roswell's 59th Annual Francis McGahee Youth Day in the city of Roswell. And I call upon our citizens, young and old, to help us create and promote this important day.
Let's have a hand for that.
And now I'd like for Jillian Magnum, who is representing Councilman Jerry Orleans, for a special announcement.
I would like to introduce the Roswell Rapids Swim Team champions. First, Megan Coleslaw, 9-year-old girls 25-yard freestyle Georgia Recreation and Parks Association state swim champion.
Hi, I'm Mega Kosla, 9 years old, and I won first at state for 25-yard freestyle, and I also dance here.
I would also like to introduce Roxanne Scher, 14-year-old girls 50-yard breaststroke Georgia Recreation and Parks Association state swim champion.
Hi, I'm Roxanne Scher, and I swam with 14-year-old girls age group, and I won the 50-yard breaststroke.
Now, can I please have the Roswell Mayor and Council come down and have their pictures taken with the champions?
Was that the young? We're going to get them all down there.
Let's get everybody.
Yeah.
All right, let's all go down there. That includes this group. Because y'all are the mayor and council, we're just your backup tonight. Oh, go you with it.
They'd have to come in a little more.
Okay. Okay, good. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. Here we go. 1, 2. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good job. Congratulations.
Now I'd like to call upon Youth Council Member Alicia Muzzy, who is representing Councilman Kent Eigelhart for a special announcement.
The theme for the 59th annual Francis McGahee Youth Day Parade is Our Heroes. The theme is selected by the Roswell Recreation Commission. The Recreation Commission thought it would be interesting to see how each entry depicts this theme. Surveys were sent out to our summer camp participants ranging from 5 to 10 years old and received 200 back. In those 200 completed surveys, 40% indicated their heroes were either their mom or their dad. I have the surveys up here if anybody would like to look at them. They're pretty sweet.
Now I'd like to call on Youth Councilwoman Emily Howell, who is representing Councilwoman Becky Wynn for a special announcement.
The Roswell Recreation Commission listed occupations that fall into the category of heroes. The final list consists of soldiers, police officers, firefighters, and teachers. A representative of each hero will be on the Grand Marshal float. We have representing the Grand Marshals tonight, Police Officer Andy Reach and Firefighter Bill Martin. I'd like to ask the Mayor and Council to go to the podium and please have their picture made with these Grand Marshals.
Everybody, let's go back for another photograph.
Okay, get in there tight. Y'all have to make a... Yeah, there you go. Like, can you get that?
Don't go anywhere.
Now I'd like to call on Youth Council person Alyssa Lajamanier, who is representing Rich DiPolito.
Youth Day has been a long tradition in Roswell. In 1950, a group of concerned parents decided to sponsor a parade and a day of activities to honor the youth of the city. In 1951, Mayor Ford Rucker proclaimed the second Saturday in October as Roswell Youth Day, and the tradition is going on stronger than ever. In 2007, the name was changed to the Francis McGahee Youth Day Parade. Francis McGahee was one of the founders of the Roswell Youth Day Parade and activities and a member of the Roswell Recreation Commission from 1969 to 2008.
And now I'd like to call on Youth Council member Meghna Saha, who is representing Councilwoman Lori Henry for a special announcement.
The day kicks off with a 5K road race beginning at 9:45 a.m. The race starts at the Roswell United Methodist Church and finishes in Roswell Area Park. Promptly at 10 a.m., the 59th annual Francis McGahee Parade begins winding its way through Roswell. This parade ends in Roswell Area Park, where everyone enjoys activities including inflatable moonwalk and slide, petting zoo, train rides, climbing walls, entertainment, and children under the age 15 receive a free lunch, sponsored by Miller's Ale House and Restaurant.
Now at the request of Mayor Wood, I think the youth mayor is now going to read a couple other proclamations.
Roswell Arts and Humanities Month. Whereas the month of October has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than 2 decades. And whereas the arts and humanities play a unique role in the lives of our families, our communities, and our country through impact on the economy, social problem solving, job creation, education, creativity, and community livability. And whereas cities and states and thousands of cultural organizations have celebrated the value and importance of culture in the lives of Americans and the health of thriving communities during National Arts and Humanities Month for several years. And whereas the nonprofit arts and culture industry in Roswell strengthens our economy by generating $13.6 million in total economic activity annually. By supporting the full-time equivalent of 418 jobs by generating $1.2 million annually in local and state government revenue, and whereas the 27 arts and cultural organizations of Roswell also contribute significantly to our community's quality of life and should be acknowledged and recognized for all of their contributions. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Wood, Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby proclaim October 2009 as Roswell Arts and Humanities Month and call upon all of our citizens to celebrate and promote the arts and culture into our community by recognizing this special celebration and through participation in cultural events offered throughout the city.
Invite Sharon Moskowitz and Morgan Timmis to come forward.
And now we would like to invite Sharon Moskowitz
Morgan Timmis.
And Morgan Timmis.
Let's have a hand for that great meeting.
Thank you very much. A lot of girl power here. That's awesome. You go girls. Where are all the guys? I am Sharon Moskowitz. I'm chair of the Roswell Cultural Arts Board. We're very, very happy and excited to kick off the month on a national level, but definitely on a local level. You'll see out in the lobby and probably throughout the community, we have over 40 events that are going on around town to celebrate the celebration, but we do this almost 7 days a week, and there's so many great theater, art, museums, you name it, it's in this brochure. So please bring your families, go to as many events as you can. Also, we have during the month, a really great and effective Partners Power Lunch where we invite the various businesses of our community and the arts groups to come together. We're going to celebrate. We're going to give away a Board's Choice Award where we celebrate an outstanding artist in the community, a benefactor of the community, volunteer of the community, and we will also be launching a marketing video for these not-for-profit arts groups that will enable them to hopefully seek funding both locally and out of our domain to offer what people know about Roswell. They hear about Roswell, but they're going to see what Roswell has to offer. So thank you very much.
Do you want to introduce, I think we have 2 theater groups tonight. Would you like to introduce them?
We have North Fulton Drama Club. You want to take a stand?
Tell about what they... Let the folks know about their production, what they just completed. Tell everybody the production they just completed.
They just completed. These folks do Bard at the Yard at Barrington Hall, which is something they do out of the pure love of Shakespeare, and they presented at Barrington, and they just completed a run of Macbeth, which was fantastic.
Honestly, we were going to do this last week, but we know what happened. It rained a lot. The meeting was postponed, so and Georgia Ensemble, Anita Farley is here as well. Thank you so much. We hopefully they're an in-house resident company at the Roswell Cultural Arts Center. Support them.
Thank you. Good job with the art.
Rivers Alive 2009. Whereas the citizens of Roswell and the state of Georgia recognize that all life is dependent upon clean water and strive to restore and maintain the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of Georgia's waters. And whereas watersheds, the key component of the hydraulic water cycles, are an integral part of the Earth systems. And whereas Georgia has 70,150 miles of streams and rivers that nourish our native plants and wildlife. And whereas Roswell has 1,675 miles of streams, and it is fortunate to have the Chattahoochee River running through it. And whereas we must bring together citizens, community representatives, and local government leaders to restore and preserve our watersheds. And whereas the mission of Roswell's Alive is to create awareness of and the involvement in the preservation of Georgia's water resources through this annual volunteer cleanup of the 14 river basins in Georgia. And whereas Keep Roswell Beautiful, in partnership with the City of Roswell, the City of Alpharetta, the Chattahoochee Nature Center, is presenting the second largest cleanup on Saturday, September 26th, from 8:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. And whereas there will be an extensive education area with activities and displays for all to enjoy. And whereas Keep Roswell Beautiful is also continuing their great annual duck race to be held immediately after the cleanup event at 1:15 p.m. on Oxbow Road in Big Creek. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Wood, Mayor of City of Roswell, do hereby declare September 26, 2009 as Rivers Alive Day in Roswell and encourage all of our citizens to take part in the cleanup event. And now we'd like to invite Janet Lieberman to come up to the mic.
Thank you, Mayor. You look different tonight. Yes, our Rivers Alive event was supposed to be held last Saturday.
It was really alive.
The river was very alive, but we did not put anybody on it because of the floods that came through. So we have rescheduled it for October 24th from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. We've shortened it up. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel our festival for this year, so we're concentrating solely on the cleanup. However, the duck race will still happen, and Kirby is here, along with Chris Ennis, who is our duck renter extraordinaire. So actually what's happened is you have more time now to rent your ducks. They're $3 each or 3 for $5, and you could win $100 if your duck is the first one down the river. So please take advantage of that and rent your ducks. The duck race will take place right after the river cleanup at 10 a.m., so probably about 10:15. We usually get the mayor in the water where he falls every year. So it's always a good photo event also. So we encourage you all to come out. Thank you.
And we're having a diving start from the bridge.
Well, yeah, but hopefully we will not lose our plastic feathered friends like we did last year.
More water this year. We got her off.
That is true. So, thank you.
Gracefully into the water. Thank you. Let's have a hand for and I want to thank all of our youth officials for coming tonight and for riding in the parade with us and letting us accompany them in the Roswell Youth Day Parade. One more hand for Centennial and Roswell High students and our youth officials. Good job. Did we leave one?
I had two.
Okay, we're fine. We read them all.
Right. Well, I had two the same copy.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, that was the extra copy from her.
Okay, then take it. Here, take this one in the cover.
She needs to get the signed one. Yeah, that one.
That's yours.
Thank you.
Okay, good job. Councilmember Orleans is absent with an excuse tonight. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Becky Wynn for approval. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions about the consent agenda? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. At this time, I'll call upon let's see here where we are. This is under the mayor's report. We have a resolution to pursue a formal relationship with the city, between the city of Roswell and the Luan district of Shanghai. This was at the request, really, of Eva Galambros brought this opportunity to us. She's developing a relationship with another city. We're working with the Chamber of Commerce. This is not asking any financial commitment from the city, but asking for a sort of an outreach to the Luan district of Shanghai. And we have a former native of Roswell living in the Luan district now, my brother. So we already have a connection. And I'm asking for the council to pass a resolution to create a friendship relationship with that district of Shanghai. Do we have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Becky Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Eigelhart. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Passes unanimously. I'm hoping to travel to Luan District on the 1st of December with the North Fulton Chamber and other representatives of North Fulton County. And Mayor Galambos, and I'll be paying my own plane ticket and sleeping with my brothers in my brother's condo. So it's for anybody who's questioning the expense, it will be at no expense to the city. And we hope to bring some business home, if not to Roswell, at least to North Fulton County. At this time, I'll ask Kay Love to read the agenda for the Environmental Public Works Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda is Keep Roswell Beautiful Annual Report Summary. Mr. Mooring.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Frank Hasty will be presenting the report on behalf of Keep Roswell Beautiful, but as he comes up, let me just say that once again, the organization is a tremendous asset to the city, and I'm very proud that the Public Works Environmental Department is liaison with them, and that we can enjoy many interactive benefits. And with that, I will turn it over to Frank.
Hello, Mayor, Council. Thank you very much for inviting us here tonight. Once again, we're here to report about our organization and what we've done with and for the city. This past year was by far the biggest year we've ever had. Our total volunteer hours racked up to over $51,727, and you add that.
For that. That's a big number.
Add that with in-kind benefits, and we're over $61,000 in the dollar value of the benefits. But you combine that with private cash contributions that we brought to the organization in the city of $81,129. This year, the benefits were over $142,000.
Let's have another hand.
That's more than double it was the amount from last year or any year that I can recall. And we really appreciate your support. You all have been very good to us in the past, and we couldn't do it without the support of the mayor, the council, and the administration. And we just hope we can continue to work together and together do really good things for the city. So thank you very much.
Frank, on behalf of the city, I'd like to thank you and the board and Janet Lieberman and all of the volunteers with Keep Roswell Beautiful. You're doing a great job. You're getting better every year, and look forward to a long relationship with y'all.
Thank you very
Janet,
much.
would you like to add something there?
We'd like a picture of you all.
Okay.
I know you all think that.
Folks in this one. This is the wide angle.
I'll get up front. You're the money people. Now, next time, put the bigger number on there. You know, y'all are getting full credit for all you've done. Good job.
Just a little amount.
Now, what was the trick this year of doubling it? Just more work, or
Golf marathon.
the golf marathon?
And also, you remember the...
That's why everybody can hear it. We're down here talking.
We received a tree grant through Fulton County and Lynn Riley of $68,000, and we got the grant right about the time when the tornado came through the Roswell area park, and we lost all those trees, so it was perfect. We were able to use that money we used most of that money to replace the trees that we lost in the park.
Well, let's all
intersection improvement.
Well, let's also thank Lynn Riley and Fulton County. I know we thanked her before, but y'all are doing a great job. Keep it up.
Next item is approval of a resolution to apply for the U.S. Department of Energy Recovery Act Local Energy Assurance Planning Initiative in the amount of $130,000. Mr. Mooring?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yvonne Douglas, our Deputy Director, had found some information about this grant. She has an abiding interest in alternate energy, and together with Danny Blitch, had put together this application package. The Local Energy Assurance Planning Grant is a non-matching grant, and it allows for us to develop an energy assurance plan for dealing with losses of normal forms of energy through natural disasters or whatever mechanism. It also, as an element of the grant, will allow us to get assistance with conducting research on we already have a program that has been initiated at the Recycling Center for collection of waste cooking oil. This will allow us to develop other sources and to consider opportunities for conversion to biodiesel. The grant is based on the size of the community and the demonstrated interest, and as I mentioned, there is no match, and we request your approval to submit this application.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Mooring? Do we have a motion? Motion by Councilmember Eigelhart. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion? Passes unanimously.
The next item is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a contract with Frank Sudduth & Sons, Inc. for the emergency repair of stormwater pipes at Chattahoochee Street in the amount of $31,835. This item is being brought to you as an emergency purchase. It was deemed such of the flooding rains of September the 21st. Mr. Mooring, his staff assessed it, and per the procurement ordinance, we went ahead with this emergency repair, and we are seeking formal approval tonight. I will let Mr. Mooring give you the details.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This was a repair that was required after the torrential rains on September 21st. There was sort of, in engineering terms, a jury-rigged setup with the catch basin that was constructed. There was virtually a duct tape joint that was created, and that blew out. It washed out a hole of about 12 by 8 feet. We initially thought that simply replacing the pipe that was lost there was adequate, but on further assessment determined that the pipe that came into there crossing under Chattahoochee Street, an old corrugated metal pipe, also needed to be replaced, and a head wall installed on the upstream end. We were able to work quickly and get a contract with Frank Sudduth & Sons, and in fact, as of today, that work has been completed. This is the final price. It was approved on an emergency basis by City Administrator Love, and we ask for you to ratify that agreement.
Does the council have any questions? Councilmember DiPolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Does this qualify under the FEMA emergency funds? It does.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, and we have documented all of the costs in a separate file to maintain so that can be easily submitted for reimbursement.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion for approval? Motion by Councilmember Wynn for approval. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Laurie Henry. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time I'd like to recognize Alex Fidali. Alex, it's our practice in Roswell as we have a candidate who we've not previously recognized to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Would you like to come to the microphone? We put all folks running for office on the spot, so we're not picking on you. We wanted to make sure that you have an opportunity to say hello.
Thank you very much, Mayor. My name is Alex Fidali. I am running for City Council, Post 6, and I look forward to the election and bring my message to the residents of Roswell.
Thanks for coming tonight, Alex. This time I'll call upon Transportation Department Liaison, Councilmember Becky Wynn. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
First item is an approval of a resolution to apply for the Gateway Grant Program in the amount of $50,000. Mr. Asenbrack.
Thank you, Councilmember Wynn. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The Roswell Department of Transportation, in conjunction with the City Administrator, the City Grants Administrator, Danny Blitch, is seeking your approval tonight for a $50,000 Gateway grant. Gateway stands for a Georgia Transportation Enhancement Grant. What we've done is we've looked at an area at the city that we believe needs some improvements, and we have selected the Georgia 400 at Holcomb Bridge, exit 7A and B. What we've done here is this is an aerial diagram showing a likely location of some trees that we'd like to plant there using this $50,000, which is what the money is for. We have already coordinated with the landscape architect of Georgia Department of Transportation and the grant. This, of course, is our initial proposal. There will probably be some staff work and some modifications, but it's essentially going to be this, and it will be the money will pay for the landscape material installation, and the city will be required to maintain this area for 50 years.
When you say area, we're talking about the trees.
Yes, sir.
Does the council have any questions? Councilmember Eichelhardt.
In the committee meeting, we had talked about the original proposal that had some more plantings and things like that, but we did not do that because we didn't want to be responsible for it for 50 years. But is there anything prohibiting us from doing that? I mean, because now are we basically taking over the operation of this area? But if we wanted to keep doing those things, I mean, if we wanted to add the other plantings, we could still do that.
That's correct.
And not have that requirement.
Right. Sure. We initially had some small planting areas around some of the apexes of the areas, but based on the committee discussions that we decided that we would go with something that was much more low maintenance. We believed at this point the trees were.
And I should clarify, I don't mean as part of this, but we could do it separately on our own.
Yes, we have a standing agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation to maintain this area if we want to, and we are using that as our cover for our one-time maintenance that the council has already authorized us to do.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Yes, sir. Come forward.
Defer to Mr. Morgan. Hello.
Good evening. Peter Morgan, Wildwood Springs in Roswell. I'm just wondering how this reconciles with Georgia DOT clear-cutting 30 feet from the right-of-way.
It doesn't.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Okay, the next one. Approval of a resolution to accept federal C-230 stimulus funds administered by GDOT and to authorize the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a contract with, is that URI? URI, thank you. Companies LLC for the construction of the Holcomb Bridge Road Sidewalk Project in an amount of $1,233,477 and approval of budget amendment 4224S1-10-5-09 to establish the budget. Mr. Asenbrack.
Thank you, Councilmember Wynn. It is my great privilege to present to you tonight a project that began in 1997, which is a long-awaited connection of sidewalks. As you see in this diagram here, it will begin on along Holcomb Bridge Road, west of Georgia 400. It will begin at Old Holcomb Bridge and will move toward the eastbound lanes of, the western ramps of Georgia 400. We went through the normal procurement process. We had 7 bids. URI was the low responsible contractor. With your approval tonight, we will send this down to GDOT for their approval, and then we will begin construction as soon as we give them notice to proceed, pending all the approvals. We anticipate having a groundbreaking for this project sometime in the next several weeks. And then depending on the contractor's bid, we assume that this will take between 6 and 9 months to complete.
Mr. Asenbrack, does this include some landscaping in addition to the sidewalk?
It does, Mayor, but very, very little. There's very little room on the sides. We've basically what we'll have is we will be revegetating the center median.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Asenbrack? Councilmember Lori Henry.
Mr. Asenbrack, could you refresh my memory? This was a project that was in existence prior to stimulus funding, and is memory serving me correctly that we had budgeted money for this project?
Yes, ma'am.
And where is that money going now that we've got the stimulus funds for this?
I'll defer to the city administrator.
Good idea.
The money that we had allocated for this project will remain in the Capital Projects Fund until it is reappropriated. So it will go back to the fund balance or reserves in the Capital Project Fund, since it will not be utilized for this project, and then the council may reappropriate it at its discretion.
Thank you.
Does do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Lori Henry. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time I'll call upon Kay Love to read the Recreation and Parks Department agenda.
The approval of a resolution to accept the Fulton County Arts Council grant contract and approval of budget amendment 6190G6100509 in the amount of $11,000 for the fiscal year 2010 for the Sundays on the Square concert series. Mr. Glover.
Thank you. This is an extension or continuation of the concerts we've had at Town Square on Sunday afternoons. This is not the same amount as the grant in the past, but we've reduced from 6 concerts down to 5. And this is what we discussed at the committee meeting.
Is there any match to this?
Yes, sir.
What is the city's match?
The city's match is
$5,500.
$5,500. It is in the grant match fund.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Glover? Do we have a motion? Motion for approval by Councilmember Eigelhart. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
The next item on the agenda is approval of a resolution to apply for 2010 Tourism Product Development Grant from the Georgia Department of Economic Development in the amount of $10,000 for the design and construction of an open-air pavilion on Orchard Hill at Bullock Hall. Mr. Glover?
Thank you. Again, this is a grant being sponsored by the Friends of Bullock. They came forward with this to help build an open-air pavilion. Most of the money had been in place, but the group decided to increase the size of the pavilion in order to accommodate more people. With this grant, we'll be able to increase the size of the pavilion and move forward. The Friends of Bullock will provide $10,000 match and other patrons of the Friends of Bullock will help with the in-kind services.
Orchard Hill. I'm not. What is Orchard Hill?
It's the part of the property on Bullock Hall property that was known as the Orchard Hill area. It's right close to where the little pond area used to be. That was just a name that was given a long, long time ago.
Well, it's good to learn something. Is there any questions? Do we have a motion? Motion for approval by Councilmember Wynn. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
The next item on the agenda is approval of an ordinance to ban smoking within the City of Roswell parks except within designated areas. Mr. Glover?
Yes, I'll ask Mr. Davidson if he would read the first reading of the ordinance. This came forward from the Recreation Commission after numerous newspaper articles and comments that have come out throughout the metro Atlanta area about smoking being banned in city parks all over the area. The commission felt very strong that this is something that the City of Roswell should follow up on. One of our main goals and functions is to promote a healthier living style, and this is one of the ways that they felt we could be promoting this.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to ban smoking within the City of Roswell parks except within designated areas. Whereas the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell are charged with the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, and whereas the Mayor and Council find that a ban on smoking within City of Roswell parks, except within designated areas, will reduce the dangers associated with secondhand smoke for all users of the parks, and whereas the city parks promote and encourage patrons to use the parks to enhance their health and wellness through leisure opportunities, and smoking is detrimental to those purposes. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following ordinance. Section 14.2.4, subsection K, of the City of Roswell Code of Ordinances is hereby amended by striking it in its entirety and substituting the following section in its place. And if the section of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this will be the first reading of the ordinance.
Mr. Glove, what is the intent with the designated areas? Where would they be, and how many would we have? I'm trying to get a feel for designated areas.
I think the largest or the biggest concern that we had was if somebody's in the park, going to be in there for a couple hours or whatever the case may be, with their child playing baseball or football or some activity, that if they are a smoker, they're not going to leave the park. They're going to stay there. So the commission felt like it was important to have a area that they could go, which would not interfere with any other person in the park. And that area would be in the parking lot in their own personal car.
So in essence, you will be able to smoke in your car in the parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Does the council have any other questions? Councilmember Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Glover, I noticed it's in the car with the windows rolled up. I mean, why? Where did that come from?
I'm not 100% sure where it came from. I think Mr. Halsey put that in there, but I'm not sure exactly. I think it was mainly that if we're going to ban smoking in the parks, that none of the smoke should be in the air or in the vicinity of anybody walking by or somebody parked next to them or whatever the case. I'm not sure it's 100% necessity, but that's the way it was written.
Is this a legal necessity or a recommendation of Mr. Halsey?
I have to ask Mr. Davidson that question.
I'm not sure.
I think Mr. Halsey I think he put it in there. If I was talking to Mr. Halsey about that, that's my only question. I'm an ex-smoker, almost 17 years now, I guess, that I quit. So I like to see, and cigarette smoke does really bother me now. But I do have a problem with all the windows closed, because one thing that doesn't smell good is somebody who's been sitting in a car with the windows rolled up and smoke like 3 cigarettes and get out and sit right next to you.
I might have to be in that car when my wife's smoking. I don't.
Yeah, that's I don't. And everything else, I'm I'm not real comfortable with this, but I'll probably go along with it, but I don't like this thing with all the windows closed. I think that's just, I think that's a little overkill.
You may propose an amendment if you believe it's appropriate.
Well, I'd like to hear what my other colleagues have to say, but that's one thing that I'm not really comfortable with, especially if one thing we're trying to do is to help with this, and somebody puts their minor child in there and has all the windows rolled up when they're driving outside the park. So that's one of the things. And another thing is with all the windows closed, what happens if it's a convertible? Can they put the top down? And as long as the windows are closed, that's what it says. So I'm assuming that somebody that's sitting in a convertible can put down the top, and as long as the windows are rolled up, they're within the ordinance.
You may have increased the sales of convertibles.
Probably so. I think so. Or the sunroof, even the sunroof. So that's only the thing that I'm really not comfortable with approving.
Any council members have any other questions or comments before we entertain a motion? Councilmember Eichelhardt.
I just have a question based on that. Is the problem that they shouldn't have to have the windows closed, or that they wouldn't smoke in the car at all? I'm just curious as to what your point, what you're trying to accomplish.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear what you said.
You mean to say that they should not smoke at all in the car, or that they should be able to smoke in the car with the windows rolled down?
I'm not really married to either one. I just think that if we're going to allow them to smoke in the car, they shouldn't be, the windows can be down. I don't think that's going to really disturb that many people, but that's just me. But
because I would agree.
I'm thinking this way: if we're going to ban smoking, why don't we just ban smoking, and then there's no.
Well, I guess that's what I thought you were maybe saying. Because to me, if you have the windows rolled down, you might as well allow smoking because you're going to have this smoke everywhere. So.
Well, I'm not a smoker. I have never been a smoker, and I wish no one smoked. But some folks are going to smoke. And I believe if we don't allow them to smoke in the parking lot, we're going to either discourage them from coming to the parks at all, which I don't support, or we're going to encourage them to get in their car and drive off the parking place and smoke, because they will, and then drive back, and which will be burning more fuel, creating more carbon emissions. And I think at the end of the day, unless we're going to ban smoking in the city entirely, I think we're not being productive by making them drive their car off the premises to smoke and then come back. And then again, I don't want to be the police officer to be checking all the windows from an enforcement standpoint. This is going to get tricky. So I think you're accomplishing, my belief is if you can get 95% of your goal with an ordinance and you're accomplishing 95% of that and you're making it simpler to enforce and you're accomplishing good things, I would hope the council would not get to the point of saying, were their windows rolled up or not when they were smoking. So I'd hope the council would consider that. Other comments before we entertain a motion?
Well, then I would like to, after the motion, can I make an amendment now, sir?
We haven't entertained a motion yet.
Okay.
We've had a first reading, so we're open to motions and amendments. You can make a motion.
I would like to make a motion with an amendment. If I could, sir.
It wouldn't be a motion with amendment. It would be a motion.
Can I do that? Let me do this.
Yes, you can do that.
Let me do this.
You can do that. You can do that. I apologize. I'm becoming too technical.
Let's see. He's letting me. I'm making a motion to approve the first reading with the amendment. I can do that, right, sir?
You can.
Okay. To delete with all the windows closed.
We have a motion by Becky Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience wish to comment or have any questions? Further discussion by council. Councilmember Eichelhardt.
Just curious, do we know what the other cities who have passed bans, what they have done with that?
Most cities have not completed their process at this time. I think the city of Marietta was going to do a total ban. Is that right, Morgan?
They're working on it, but they haven't had all the reasons yet.
We're at Clayton County. I think Clayton County and the city of Gainesville, they may have a designated smoking area, but we've looked at 4 or 5 different cities that have done it, and some have done both.
Okay. And what have we heard back from the Recreation Commission? Well, I guess we just said it, so we wouldn't know. But we'll be sure to talk to them to see what they thought, since they're the one who brought it up. So, but I'm fine either way, actually.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to pass the first reading, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
This time I'll call upon Liaison to the Administration and Finance Department, Councilman Kent Eigelhart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have an item to approve a contract with Caspian for the interior renovation of the 105A Dobbs Drive building. And let Mr. Fisher talk about that, if you would.
Thank you, members of the council and mayor. You do have before you a request to award Caspian with a contract to renovate the 105A Dobbs Drive facility. It's bid number 09232B, and there was 22 firms that responded to the bid, and Caspian ultimately was the low bidder with $186,650. The range went as high as $376,420. There is funding that's identified and available. There's $58,697 out of the general fund and $260,139 out of the water fund. So this evening I'm seeking approval to award Caspian the contract for the renovation.
Are there any questions? Mrs. Love, is this the item in which we researched the possibility of making this a LEED certified building?
Yes, sir. At the committee meeting, there was a request for us to take a look at what it would take to seek LEED certification for this building. When we began the process, the policy that we have in place, the square footage of this renovation falls below that threshold. That's why it was not sought with the original bid. We did secure the services of a LEED certified consultant to assist us going down through the LEED checklist to determine what those soft and hard costs might be.
Did we have an estimate of what it would cost to have this building's LEED certified at this time?
The soft costs are approximately $53,000, and Mr. Fisher can delineate those. One of the elements about this bid is that some of the specifications that were required in the document meet LEED certification for certain items such as our HVAC improvements, the lighting improvements, carpeting, and tile. So while we weren't seeking the LEED certification due to the prerequisites, there are elements in there that are green friendly, if you will. One of the prerequisites is commissioning of this building. That cost is approximately $9,500, and that is a prerequisite whether we were able to proceed with LEED certification or not, as well as certain modeling that would be required for us to determine usage for the systems within the building.
Now, based upon the LEED certified architect, if we had this LEED certified, would that add to the $186,000 cost?
Yes, sir.
How much would that add to the $186,000 cost?
Mr. Fisher, could you go over those? I don't want to.
I can. The total cost for the soft cost, the items that we would need to either document or make some plan notations on, do some baseline modeling, comes up to $53,570. And then there was also the contract for the LEED professional to do the score sheet and do the discovery phase of about $4,250.
So that's an additional $57,000 on top of the $186,000.
Correct.
Would we anticipate? Can we have an estimate of long-term savings over the life of this building if we spend an additional $57,000?
I don't have that right now. That's part of the modeling process that they'll do for the program. They'll run a model of the electric use that we currently have to give us a baseline, and then they would turn around and figure in the new equipment that was going in, the new lighting, the lighting controls, and then determine based on that what our savings might be on the electrical costs. There are some requirements that you have to lower usage by some things 20, 25, even to 35%, depending on how many points you can get in the LEED process.
All right. If we choose to study this further, how much time have we spent studying in this project so far? To get to this point, we found it would cost us another $57,000. How much staff time do we have in this?
I would say at least 20 hours staff time plus the consultant.
Right. And how much was the consultant?
$4,250, not
Or
to
the number of
exceed.
hours that they spent.
$4,200 of consultant time.
Right.
Correct.
Now, if we want to study this further, how much are you saying we need to add into this budget to study it further to decide if we're going to save money?
Another
over the life?
$12,500.
How much?
$12,500 for the consultant to do the modeling.
And we may or may not find substantial savings.
Correct.
Thank you. Does the council have any additional questions? Councilmember Eichelhardt.
Well, of course, the mayor just did a very good job there in trying to torpedo any effort to look further. But as I sent an email out earlier today, which is always the danger of sending anything to the mayor, but I have talked with a number of folks who do LEED certified work, and they have all said, as we've been told from the beginning, that anytime you do after the fact, it's going to add cost. Anytime you do it from the beginning as part of the planning process, then it can actually be the same or very close. And the folks I've talked to have not had the time to actually look at the plans or do anything concrete about that, but they have offered to make that effort, which would not cost any money for anybody other than those who are willing to take that time. And as I understand, we have 120 days from August 20th to actually close a contract and have that bid value available till that time, so we don't lose anything during that time period, which goes mid-December. And I appreciate all the work that staff has done, both to get to that point and including the LEED things along the way to begin with, and up to this point. But I think we may have an opportunity to do better. I mean, we may not. It may end up being the same, but it doesn't hurt us to wait and get some extra outside help from people who are willing to do that. And ultimately, it could actually make a major difference in the cost that we spend long term, and that's really where my perspective is. So I don't see any problem in waiting for at least another month until we can let some folks get a chance to work on that. So I will make a motion to defer this until the first meeting in November, which is November the 2nd. That would be my motion.
Any other questions? Councilmember DiPolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Eichelhardt, are these people that are going to be looking at this, are they going to be charging anything, or is this something that's being done through the Green Ribbon Committee?
There are people who would be willing to look at it for nothing.
So there's essentially no cost to the city to wait to take a look at this?
There would be no cost to the city to wait.
Councilmember Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing I would want to make sure that if we do decide to defer this for a month, that it's not going to have a snowball effect that, we're getting into a really tight timeline here. So I just want to make sure that we have enough cushion that if we find out that the leads is not going to be what we want to do, that we still have enough cushion in there that we're not losing this bid. Because I'm just really concerned that we've been waiting for a long time to do this, this Dobbs renovation. So I just want to make sure that whatever we do, we have enough cushion there that we're not getting too tight on our timeline about deadline on the bid. That's all I'm saying.
Well, 120 days from August puts us into mid-December, early November.
But
that's like a month and a half.
This is government, and government moves like a snail. So I just want to make sure that what we do, we put, if we decide to defer, that we put a very strict timeline on this, so we don't make sure that we're, getting into a crunch at any time. I just want to make sure.
If we come back by that November meeting, we should be fine.
Okay. Then one other question: if we do go with the, let's say Leeds looks good, then we would have to rebid. Am I correct on that?
That is correct.
And what's the timeline on a rebid?
We're looking at probably the 1st of January, because we would have to, the specifications would only change slightly. The bigger issue is the documentation and the modeling that is required. Like I said before, many of the elements we have meet the LEED criteria. It's just lacking the documentation. And then one of the things that we need to bring back so that y'all can take a detailed look is the prerequisite. So no matter whether we make the mark of the points, there are certain costs that must be incurred. Commissioning is one that I mentioned. So there are some things that would need to be done, so that decision would have to be made. But it would require a rebid because it was not in the scope. The contractor did not contemplate the required documentation and process management.
Okay, and if we did this on a LEEDs, would the contractor have to be some type of LEED certified contractor to do this work?
Or have available to them subcontractors. Many of them will subcontract that out. The general contractor will subcontract it out. And we did go back to this firm. They do have that available within their firm.
Okay, thank you.
We have a motion. Well, yeah, do we have a motion?
We have a motion. I think we're waiting for a second. My motion again would be to defer
Motion
decision to
defer. Do we have it
November
deferred to a
2nd.
certain date, or is this just an indefinite deferral?
To the November 2nd, like I said.
Motion to defer to December 2nd. Is there a second?
November or December?
November
The
2nd.
11th month, November. Okay.
Motion to defer to December 2nd. Is there a second? November 2nd. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Is anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Then we have one more item, which is the approval for contract with Plantin Moran for enterprise resource planning and project management for our large computer overhaul for $442,320. And Ms. Love's going to present that.
Thank you. This item is for ERP project management services. As you know, ERP project is designed for us to improve our business processes and our efficiency by replacing a number of legacy computer systems that the city has used over quite a number of years. And some of the systems, as an example, would be payroll, personnel, financial accounting, permitting, purchasing, utility billing, and budgeting. That's not an all-inclusive list. But the services are critical for this project because this company would provide oversight for us. They would help us develop the business processes workflow, help look for efficiencies, help us develop the RFP specifications, review those RFPs when the proposals come in, do vendor site visits, vendor due diligence, coordinate any of the project milestones along the way of the project, and provide communication to the different stakeholder groups. This project is about a 36-month project, and they would be here with us for that term. They would not be on site all of this time. They would come and go as the project milestone and work plan as delineated. We had over 60 proposals, however, only 32 of them met the criteria when the RFP was issued. The cost proposals range from $435,000 to in excess of $2 million for the services based on that scope. The evaluation committee reviewed them, narrowed it down to about 5, narrowed it down again to the top 2, brought those folks in each separately to spend a day with us. They met from everyone from the management team to division managers to subject matter experts. Those are the people within the departments who perform these functions now, who are very well of the business processes and the opportunities and the challenges that the current legacy systems cause. They are also the people who will be the best ones to implement a new system and help us bring some streamlining to some of our processes. Plantin Moran is the company. They were the most responsive proposer at a $442,320 price tag. That is based upon hours and is subject to change based upon the work plan and what we find out once we get in there. It will be dependent somewhat on the software that is selected, and that certainly will be another process that will be brought to you separately. Happy to answer any questions.
Does the council have any questions? Councilmember DiPolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Love, we had talked at the committee meeting that the full 36 months is for the time frame for the entire project from beginning of study to implementation. I assume that's still correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in order for us to get to a point of understanding what software package, we're talking roughly 12 months?
Yes, sir.
I think. So
9 to 12.
Okay. So we'll have spent probably about a third of this 435 roughly just to get to that point. So at that point, we'll have a decision to make. Do we continue to move forward with this consultant, move forward with the software they recommend, and so forth?
Correct.
So we're approving the full 435, but we'll really only be spending roughly a third of it in the next 12 months to get to another decision point, essentially.
Correct. And their work plan is very detailed based on the number of hours, so they would be paid after certain things have occurred and they have satisfied that. So it would be approximately a third, could be a little less. Certainly city staff will be in partnership with them in performing some of those duties.
And the reason I'm asking is I want to make sure we're not $500,000 into this and then we decide we don't like the software they're recommending, or it's,
Yes, sir.
We're heading in the wrong direction. But so we can, if we needed to, we could terminate this after a year.
At any point.
At any point. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from Ms. Love? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Eichelhardt for approval. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Wynn. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
This time I'll call upon Community Development Liaison, Councilmember Richard DiPolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is for approval for the final adoption of the short-term work program and capital improvements element update to the comprehensive plan. Mr. Townsend.
Yes, Councilman DiPolito. This is to maintain our qualified local government status as part of the Georgia Planning Act of 1989. Every year we update our CIE as well as our short-term work program. It has been reviewed by DCA as well as the Atlanta Regional Commission. They have recommended approval. It has been reviewed by the Planning Commission as well as gone to committee level. Staff would recommend approval of the resolution that would maintain our qualified local government status.
Does the council have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember DiPolito. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Henry. Do we have any questions from the audience? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. We're adjourned. We have a work session immediately following this meeting to discuss an exciting project, the Big Creek Bridge Road project to connect east and west.